We're talking about email and SMS, all right? I have a very special title. And give me that next slide, Jeremy. Great job. Inbox revenue. So unlocking eComm growth. And I am going to focus, heads up, I'm going to focus a lot on automation. So prepare yourself emotionally. You need to walk away with, we're thinking about automation here, okay? Raise your hand if you've ever engaged with email marketing in any capacity or SMS marketing in any capacity. Let the record show everyone's hand is up, okay? Thank you for that. It's documented. So let's dive in. The new reality here. When we think about what's happening in the data that we need to pay attention to in 2024, 37% of email sales came from just 2% of send volume through automation, which is tremendous. This is a really big deal. It makes me very excited. We're seeing a move from volume-based broadcasting to intelligent-driven design. This is made possible by AI capabilities. Anybody hear about AI recently? It happens, right? And it can mean a lot of different things, but it is making a huge difference in what we're doing in the email and SMS space, right? Sophisticated automation is really what I want to focus on and what we need to bring to all of our attentions right now, and then cross-channel orchestration. And when I say cross-channel, what I mean is email and SMS. Email isn't a single channel and SMS isn't a single channel. It is a unified channel, and that's the way we're going to get the very best results. So we're going to focus on the strategies and the frameworks to get us there. So there's a performance revolution here, and it's really impressive. We're seeing a gap in the top performers versus average or lower end performance, all right? It's a reimagining of what's possible. So 5 times higher order rates for the top 10% of campaigns in email and SMS, and 7 times better revenue per recipient. That's huge. It's not an incremental improvement. It's a tremendous jump in the results that we're seeing and that we're able to achieve. And so let's dig in. Automation is an efficiency game changer, all right? Now, if I ask you, and I think you guys can figure this out, if I flip the stat and say 2% of email volume comes from what, or equals what percent of email sales, does anybody know? Not a trick question. Who said it? Max, let me give this to you. This is your card. I know you're paying attention. Good luck. Win an Xbox. Thank you for your service. All right? 18.5 times efficiency ratio. All right? Over broadcast campaigns. And I want to be really clear. I'm not saying don't do campaigns in your email marketing. I'm not saying don't do campaigns in your SMS marketing. I'm saying I believe you all understand and agree that there's a lot of value there, and it's an opportunity that we're pursuing, right? But I want to make sure that you're convinced that automation is where you need to be investing, because that's where we're seeing huge gains, and it's going to benefit both, all right? So as we dig in and we look at the strategies and the details of how we're targeting to get the best results, to see these higher end results, it's going to work for both campaigns and automations. But traditionally, we've put all of that energy into our campaigns, and so we've missed the opportunity for the automations. So let's take a look here. The most striking revelation is coming from automation. In SMS, you see 9% of sends equaling about 18% of orders. So that advantage is tremendous, right? So what I need you to just nod your head and agree with me is that you're going to walk away from here saying, okay, I am going to focus on my automation and invest to get those higher end results there for a lot of reasons, and we'll dig into them. Let's take a look. Start with mobile optimization, right? If you're creating emails today, if you're designing, if you're building, I want to challenge you and say, this is just the best practice at this point. Focus on mobile first. Design your emails to be mobile first, all right? So here's a couple best practices I want to give to you. Single column layouts for readability. Touch-friendly CTAs, make them big. It can be by now if you want it to be, but don't get stuck there, right? Test out different CTAs. See what really works for your audience. Pre-header text optimization for mobile previews. Fast loading images with alt text. And then lastly, dark mode compatible. Those are best practices for today, right? You can take a picture of that if you want. I'll ask you to, take pictures later on some stuff where we don't have all the time in the world to dig into every single detail, but I want you to go home with, I need to look into some specific things. And then on the mobile side, MMS for rich product visuals. And if you're doing this marketing, you're going to spend more for MMS. And so the challenge there is test it. See if it's worth the value, right? You're going to spend more to send an MMS, Does it bring better results? There's a really easy way to know for sure. A/B test it. Anybody ever done an A/B test before? Anybody done an A/B test and then not analyze the results? Let the record show everyone's hand was up, all right? It's more the standard than it should be, but it makes sense. It's easy to A/B test. It's hard to dig into the details and determine, based on the results of this test, what direction do I have to go now? What decisions need to be made, right? And so A/B testing it's necessary. I'll say it more than once, I promise, right? But within this, these are just the best practices, the baseline. But automated workflow setup, cross-channel triggers, continuous A/B testing, this is what you need to start leaning into, thinking about this mobile-first design, all right? This year, 59% of all eComm sales are expected to come on a mobile device. Does that shock you, or does that make sense to you? I still want to buy things on a computer, but I guess that puts me in an older demographic. Or, it's just, I want to see all the options, but I'm now not the majority, right? Now, you might be an exception here. If you're B2B, you could easily be the exception here, right? But I do expect as a brand, you'll have an indication and you'll know, are my customers using their mobile devices to make this purchase, to make a buying decision, or is it happening on desktop? And so B2B is probably, not as high, and probably is the wrong word. B2B is not as high, period, right? But on the eComm side, you might be way higher than that. And so you do have to understand your own brand, your own customers as to how does this happen. We got a couple ESPs in the house, and I can tell you they're classy ESPs who are going to tell you, we can help you see this data. This isn't a question anymore. You get to know exactly where your customers are converting, right? And so you got to dig into that data. You have to see who are my audience, where are they converting. Still going to say, go design your emails mobile first. Mobile first isn't going to hurt you. It's going to benefit you, right? But you do need to understand where your customers are engaging and what that looks like for them. And so majority of emails are opened on mobile first. Desktop design is now secondary. We're at a best practice place there. We've been there for a while, right? We've been going here for a super long time. And so let's look at some of these advanced strategies and what that's going to look like. Now, I stole from an analytical model. So this idea of the Trinity segmentation model is a riff on that. But let's take a look here, all right? Advanced segmentation and API personalization redefine customer engagement. I'll get out of your way in case you're taking a picture here. We need the basic data, right? We need to look at open click, active on site, placed order, pretty standard stuff, right? But you need to get as much data on your customers as possible. Any partners in the house who might be able to help a brand get additional data points? Raise your hand higher if you're one of those partners. Look around, find those partners. You're in a lucky spot. You're in a place that you can have conversations with people who know these products. Websites are fine, right? This is their privileged position, though. Talk to a human who understands a product, who knows who their ideal customer is and what they can do for your brand, because you have to get as many data points as possible. This is not creepy. This is not social security numbers. I'm not saying, go into the dark side here. What I'm saying is, what are the data points that matter to your brand? And it's not going to be the same across every brand. It's going to be unique based on what you sell, what you do, what your product is. And so who are your customers? And knowing and understanding your customers is going to be key to do this well. And so there isn't a playbook for me to just tell you, if you could get these 120 data points, you'll be good. The data points are going to matter for your brand, and what's going to move the needle. Really what we're trying to determine here is that customer behavior. What data points actually show maximum intent? Where do we figure out, this person is going to purchase and what they're going to purchase? And we need AI predictability models to assist there. Again, your classy ESP is going to help you do this, okay? Then we think about targeting and personalization. Sounds like a thing we should do, right? Anyone disagree? Thank you. I agree. Everyone's hand was down. So the idea here, to simplify this, think of personas. All right? Again, if I'm building personas for my customer base, it's going to be unique, one brand to another. You can't just say 5 personas for every eComm business. You've cracked the code. You're good to go. What are the personas that actually make a difference? And values and lifestyle preferences, we can get an idea of that based on purchase history and that kind of stuff. Where we really get to next level is that sentiment-based messaging. How do your customers want to connect with you? So do they want to know more about the product? and the perfect usage, or how other people use it? Do they want to connect with you on an emotional level? Do they want to feel like they're part of a group, part of a club that makes sense, right? There's not a 3-step process here. Part of this is 100%, I have a gut feeling, I'm gonna build something out, I'm gonna test it, and then I'm gonna analyze those results to see what comes back. Who are the customers that really wanna know the in-depth of how to use this product in its best case scenario to get the best results? Who responds to those types of emails? Who wants to know, or what are the customers that are really interested to see who you are as a brand? And how do they respond when they see that? And so this is gut feeling, implement, test, analyze, do it all over again, iterate, right? And so this targeting and personalization is not hello, Jeremy, in the subject line. That's not a bad thing. We can start there, but how do I want to engage with the brand and what actually moves the needle for me? Whether it's a purchase or whether it's just an additional engagement that keeps me as an active and engaged customer, right? And so the last one here, optimize based on customer behavior and personalization. We start to build like a customer behavior score with the data points that we have access to. And then we start to learn what types of communication this customer wants to receive from me so that I can get maximum result. And you could look at this and think, oh, this is creepy. You're trying to over-engineer this. That's one way to look at it. The flip side is, if my customers buy from me and they enjoy the experience and the process throughout, well, they're a happier, better customer, right? They're going to promote me. They're going to enjoy this process. So they're going to tell others about it. And I'm going to reap the benefit of doing that additional work, right? And so bringing it all together, we're then creating segments. And the sophistication here transforms segmentation from static exercise into a dynamic revenue-driving engine. And that's the opportunity in front of us, but the only way to get there is to do the work. Segments are going to benefit campaigns. I think we all agree there, but don't leave them out of your automations. As we do this work, as we start to understand our customers better, as we start to see that intent based on the data points that are available, utilize that into your campaigns, but then utilize that into your automations as well. Automation targeting has to be deeper than one layer, and this is where you're going to pull from. And I hope that that's kind of the big piece here, right? It's really easy to set up an automation and say, trigger people who did this. That's the basic level. They started a checkout, they didn't complete it. So now I want to reach out, I want to communicate to them, right? But when you think about if we really truly understand our customers, we're able to put that targeting not just into campaigns, but into automations as well. And we're going to dig into that in just a sec. But it's a deeper level. It's not one layer, one level of they did this, I then put them into this flow. There's 2 emails. That's it. That works. It gets money. But there's an opportunity here to dig deeper, right? So here we go. The connected experience engine here. So it's a shift from channel-specific campaigns to intelligent, unified customer experiences, right? The AI piece is important here. It helps us in a way that really, saves us from a tremendous amount of work on a daily basis. So we're going to lean into that. Automatic channel selection based on individual preferences. Again, your ESP is going to help you here, right? Optimal timing prediction using engagement patterns, but then seamless journey continuity across touch points. And so on the seamless journey piece of things, really what I want to focus on is context preservation. And so each channel remembers what the customer experienced in the other channel. It's not, here's my flow, and I mashed it up. So you get an email and then an SMS, and then an email and then an SMS, right? And it just goes on forever until hopefully someday you purchase. It's that each message, each contact is building on the previous message. And it's a coherent flow throughout. Each message has to build on that previous interaction. SMS is on your phone, email is on your phone. So this idea here of cross-channel automations are going to outperform single-channel efforts by 3 to 4%. Nope, times, not percent. That's pretty small in growth. Let's go with times, 3 to 4 times better value there, right? And so when SMS first became a thing, it was like, okay, I'm hitting my phone. Does anybody remember sending a text and having to worry about the number of characters? And then you had to press a button 3 times to get to the 3rd letter on the number. It's a very different world when SMS came out, right? And the idea there is it was very much a unique and different channel. Does anybody have email on their phone and check it daily? Let the record show every hand is raised, right? Does anybody, open an SMS when you receive it? Is that very different for you? Does it feel very different for you when you're checking email on your phone or when you're getting an SMS and looking at it? It's not too wildly different. The opportunity is different, and you have an opportunity to engage in a different way because an email is going to look different than an SMS, right? But it's really, from a user experience, it's like it's all happening on my phone these days. And so what we see here is that about 85% of SMS subscribers also engage with email channels, and they complement each other. They don't cannibalize each other. And so we don't want to look at them as two unique channels. We want to look at them as a unified channel together. And for the record, I love cross-channel orchestration. It's just better. And I dare you to try it, because you will see those results come through, right? And so looking into the future, what do we need to think about and focus on? This is very admittedly a bit of fear-mongering, okay? So prepare yourselves. Generation Alpha was born in 2013 through 2025. The generation of the oldest alphas right now are 12 years old. They have buying power, but it's going through their parents, right? They're growing up, they're getting older, they're gonna start making their own decisions. And in 2029, we're expected to see 5.46 trillion in spending power by Generation Alpha, and they're not the same as you and I, right? And so the idea here, the fear-mongering idea, is we have to iterate, we have to change, we have to figure out what is really bringing value, what moves the needle. And so things like authenticity over corporate polish. Has anybody worked really hard to get their emails up to a polish? I know that we've done that for many clients, right? And it's necessary, it's good, because I don't want to get an email that looks like, who put this together? You know, this is less important for Generation Alpha. They're less focused on that polish and more focused on the hyper-personalization as the standard. Know me, bring me what I want, and if you don't meet my needs, I'm done with you, right? Genuine brand voice is important. What this is going to look like, we're guessing. We have to check, we have to try it, and we got to test it. We think choose your own adventure, email and narratives, engaging with families, because again, right now it's children and their parents have the buying power, and they're transitioning from their parents having that buying power to having their own. So we got to crack that code. And on SMS, potentially community validation messages or real-time trend alerts. We have to be willing to adjust our strategies, and we can't keep doing today what's worked in the past. And so again, fear-mongering, everything changes. You have to iterate, you have to test, you got to try things new. All right, sustainability is a new performance metric here. Customers want to know who you are as a brand and what you care about. I do want to say 47% of Gen Z and millennials prefer brands advocating for social causes. This is very much not tell people who you're going to vote for on your website. Don't do that, right? This is more, what do we care about? What is our brand all about? And it can be anything, right? There's not a right answer to this question. The question is, who are your customers and what are the causes that you share in common? Because one brand to another, it'll be very different. Not a right answer. This isn't a right and wrong thing. This is a who are you and who are you talking to? And understanding your customer base. Again, getting as many data points as possible to see how do I engage with this customer group to get that best result? And then doing that well gives you a bump here. 27% premium pricing acceptance for sustainability brands. That's just, it's a gift to say, someone likes my brand and who I am and what I care about, so they're willing to pay 27% more to get to work with me because we're in line, because that customer feels like they get me as a person. That's, again, that's a gift. You want to engage at this level, right? And then lastly, digital waste reduction is becoming a competitive advantage. And what I mean by that is list hygiene is key. Don't email me if I don't open your email. Again, give me some time, right? If you continue to email me and I continue not to open, I'm giving you a very clear message. I'm telling you no thank you. But I might be lazy in that, and that's on me. But as a brand, you have to manage that. So if you email me twice and I don't open an email twice, I've told you something very clear. Give me a break. Maybe I'm out of town. Maybe I'm on vacation. I don't have service, whatever. Maybe I'm not interested. Either way, give me a break and come back to me. The come back to me is going to get tied into, well, what's the frequency of send? How often am I typically sending? So there's going to be, that answer is going to be different based on the volume of sends here, but give me a break. Because if you don't, you might make a millennial mad. You don't want to make a millennial mad. Millennials are the best and the worst, all right? I'm in this group, I get it. You email me, I don't open. I'm like, well, you email me again, I don't open again. Now I'm thinking, well, why aren't they paying attention? You email me again, I'm just going to go and I'm going to mark you as spam. That's the wrong thing to do. It's inappropriate. I don't know why I would do that, but I would. And we're seeing that across the industry. I should unsubscribe if I'm not interested. That's the nice, easy way to do it. Unsubscribes aren't bad. If someone's not interested, we want them to unsubscribe, right? We want to be hitting our engaged audiences. We want to re-engage people who are not engaged, but we don't want to send people emails over and over again without them opening. We have to listen to what our customers want. Because if you make a millennial mad, they'll try to burn you. You know, you're not safe. It's dangerous. It's our fault. I'm sorry, but it's the reality, right? That's on me. I'll take it. But big picture, way past basic best practice. But here you go. If you're still sending every email to your whole list, stop it now. Don't do it. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your deliverability. And if you feel like you're there or you're not sending your whole list, give yourself a pat on the back. I'm going to ask you a question. When was the last time you did some serious work to change the segments you're using for your campaigns? To adjust the audience that you're sending to on a regular basis? Based on the send, based on the intent of the send, based on the desired outcome, are you adjusting your audiences? If you're there, give yourself another pat on the back. And then I ask you one more question. When was the last time you looked into your automations and you decided to play with the trigger or your targeting to determine, are my automations really targeting the right thing? And what change might bring a better result? And I think that if, I'm not going to make anybody raise their hands on this one, but I think if I made you raise your hands and answer this question as to, are you adjusting your campaign segments and who you're targeting there? I think we'll see some people raise their hands and say, yeah, I do that. And then when we get to the automation piece, probably a lot less hands, right? Automations are not set it and forget it. Automations are a huge opportunity with an amazing efficiency advantage that we want to take full advantage of. And so we've got to be looking through and determining who our audience is, who we target, and have a goal as to why we target who we're targeting. And then determine if it's working, determine if we're getting the right result. But again, it's A/B testing. It's trying things out. It's iterating on our strategy and our process, right? Can't get away from that. All right, what about implementation? Let's take a look. So, and I'll get out of the way in case you want to take a picture of this one, but if you're thinking, okay, I'm interested, I want to engage here. Well, in the immediate, AI send time optimization, your ESP is going to help you there. Interactive email elements, you are going to most likely need a partner for interactive email elements, right? It's not right for everyone today, but you need to investigate and determine what is the opportunity in front of me as far as interactive email elements. It can be things as simple as, a GIF. It's interactive, right? Things are moving, things are changing, but there's in-email forms, interactive carousels, in-email shopping. There's a lot of opportunity out here, and it's changing every single week, right? So there's a new partner opportunity somewhere out there all the time to make sure that your emails are as engaging as possible to get the very best result. In the medium term, conversational SMS commerce, right? You want to have two-way conversation through SMS, and you want it to sound like you're not engaging with a robot. You want your customers to think, wow, that was beneficial. I got a question answered. I got direction as to, is this right for me or is that right for me? Again, this is going to have to be unique by brand. You can't phone this one in. It's got to be built up. It's got to be rock solid so that people engaging with this feel like, oh, I'm actually getting help here. This is wonderful. It's enhancing my experience, right? Cross-channel orchestration, this is email and SMS together, right? It's not one and then the other. It's a unified experience. Advanced workflow automation. The advanced workflow automation piece is really exciting. It's that based on the data points that I have, because we're going to get as much data on customers as possible that matter to the brand, it's going to impact what our workflow looks like, what my automations look like, right? So am I a VIP? Have I spent over X amount? Have I engaged in a certain capacity? Have I engaged with the reviews on a website, right? How many times have I purchased? How many times have I not purchased? Did I click and open? Did I stop opening emails? Did I stop clicking emails? Have I bought every week for 3 years? Whatever it is, right? Your automations should engage with your customers and not be like, well, we have one automation for this, one for that. And if you fall into that automation, the experience is the same for everybody across the board. It's like, nope, we need to do a better job targeting and building out the experience for the customer within our automations. And it's possible to do because of the advancements that we're seeing coming out really quickly. And so we have to engage here. And again, predictive analytics deployment, your ESP is going to help you here as well, thankfully. But you have to engage in those spaces, right? You have to use that data to make decisions to say, this is what we're going to do based on this information that's available. So in the long term, privacy compliant data infrastructure might not make the list for most, but I just want to call it out. If you think you're doing something shady, stop it. You are, right? And this is very important, and it's only becoming more and more important. Things are going to change. Privacy laws across states, across federal stuff, like it's going to get adjusted. You're going to want help from your ESP in this regard and trust that they're taking care of you, and they will, but don't do shady stuff, right? Oh, my friend owns a business, and he's thinking about retiring, and he's going to give me a list of 45,000 contacts. It's like, well, you might feel like, oh, I just gold mine, right? Have a conversation with someone about that and where the legal piece of it all lies, okay? Maybe you don't start with buy, but hey, we think you might enjoy us. Would you like to subscribe to our emails, right? I'm not selling you something. I'm introducing myself and asking if you're interested, right? It's a different approach. Advanced predictive life cycle management, emerging technology adoption, full omni-channel orchestration, all of these last pieces here. Success here requires balancing the technological capabilities with customer experience. So ensuring that new features enhance rather than complicate the customer experience. And that matters, right? We want to take care of our customers, not just to make a sale. We want to take care of our customers because we want our customers to be satisfied. They'll be better customers. We'll have a better experience as a brand. Our customers will have a better experience. It brings benefit on every side, all right? So then, KPIs that matter. I would just say take a picture of this one if you'd like. I'm not going to go through every one in detail because of time, but there's a lot of KPIs out there. There's a lot of data points out there. Everyone's aware of open rate, click rate. Those are good. You need that stuff, right? But I would challenge you to say, if you're not focused now on these revenue, engagement, and operational metrics, then it's time to consider what that looks like, what current state is, so you can make a plan to say, how do we move beyond this? How do we grow in this space? All right, so this one is a little bit of best practices, right? So hopefully this has been a mix of best practices and let's go to the next level. Best practices here, avoiding the top 5 strategic pitfalls. Volume over value. Not awesome. You focus just on send volume instead of revenue per message, you can guarantee you'll send a lot and you'll pay for those sends, but is it the most efficient way to spend your money, right? Channel silos, managing email and SMS as separate channels instead of a unified experience. That's a problem. Do better. Static segmentation, using demographic-only segments instead of dynamic behavioral scoring. Again, get more data points. Use those data points to create a score for your customers to say, this is who my customer is, and based on this score, this is what I believe their intent is as far as purchase. And then follow up. Attribution blindness, relying on last click attribution instead of comprehensive multi-touch tools. Any comprehensive multi-touch tools out there? I don't know. It's possible. Maybe talk to some partners here. And then sticking with basic platforms instead of investing in AI-powered solutions, right? I like what Garo said this morning. Our partners that are here because we believe in them. They're getting the job done. They're investing in the right places. AI is a part of that, right? If you don't believe in AI, that's rough. Sorry to hear it, right? It's a part of everything, and it is making what we can do much more, into the future possible kind of stuff. And it allows us to make changes to personalize, but also engage in ways that we just really couldn't before. The biggest risk isn't trying new strategies, it's staying with strategies that worked 3 years ago. Jeremy Vale said that. And there's no part of me that thinks this needs to be said, because everyone would nod their head and say, of course, duh. This has got to be the standard. But you have to actually ask yourself, are we engaging in this way? Are we engaging in what's new, what's next, what's going to convert in the future? Or are we doing what's worked and really banking on it? Because it's not hard to do that. It's really easy and kind of wonderful to say, this is working, let's keep doing this. In the process of that, you also have to be looking forward and determining where are the opportunities that we're not yet pursuing. And then the new inbox playbook here, just wrapping it up. Revenue doesn't scale with volume, it scales with intelligence. Volume's great. Don't avoid volume. Volume's not a bad thing. Make sure it's paired with intelligence. And then orchestration beats over communication. Orchestrate. Again, we're talking email and SMS. We could talk a lot differently about all the channels coming together. There's no time. 25 minutes wasn't going to get me there. So we're talking email and SMS, but we're orchestrating our channels here, right? And then inbox channels are your most controllable revenue engine. We'll see things change. We'll see things that we need to pivot to survive with. Texas is a whole thing right now. Will probably come up in the panel, right? But we have so much control with email and SMS that we want to take advantage of, right? Those are our spaces. We're communicating with our customers directly. Top brands don't just reach the inbox. They reshape the journey inside of it. Delight your customer and make a sale in the process. That doesn't happen by accident. And from our perspective here, from my perspective, the opportunity is to dig deep, get as much data points as possible on your customer base so that you can engage them in a way that delights them. And when you do that, you'll have happy customers who want to purchase from you and want to tell other people about your brand.